Thank you guys so much for tuning in again on Fallbrook Land Conservancy's Facebook page. My name is Jessica, and I am from a very special place called Pacific Animal Productions. So actually, this is our second program for Stagecoach Sunday uploaded. We're so happy to be doing this for the Land Conservancy. So what I want you guys to do is, if you watched us on Monday, right? What's today? Wednesday. Oh my goodness. These weeks go by so fast. But yeah, so if you watch us on Monday, let us know that you are watching again. I see Ryan is watching. Hi Ryan. Thank you guys for tuning in. You tuned into our Facebook page earlier. I love that. So guys, if you are joining us for the first time, like I said, we're from Pacific Animal Productions. We're a wildlife outreach facility located right here in Fallbrook, California, which is why we're so excited to be partnering with the Land Conservancy for Stagecoach Sunday uploaded this year. Normally we're there in person, but we're going virtual this year, and we love it because we love being involved with our local community, especially something so great as the Land Conservancy that helps our native wildlife by protecting over 3,000 acres of natural wildlife habitat here in San Diego County. So we love, love, love to be a part of that. I see Susan is watching again. Thank you for saying hi. You guys, if you don't know how this works, I do have a monitor here and I can see all of your comments and your questions. So go ahead and put those on in the chat section, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions you guys have. Now, we are going to be meeting some native wildlife today, and I'm really excited to be bringing them to you. We get animals from all different kind of places. We provide forever homes for animals that need them, and then we have this awesome job of allowing them to be animal ambassadors, educating the public about their species and why they're so important. And today we're going to be meeting some native wildlife. Our first guy is Tucker, and oh, he's getting big. Whoa, you guys, this is Tucker, this handsome fella, and he is a desert tortoise. Okay, if you guys have ever heard that desert tortoises are sometimes called gopher tortoises, then you're right, they're one and the same. Now, the reason that desert tortoises are also called gopher tortoises is because they are known for burrowing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, you might be noticing he's moving his legs a little bit. Look at those legs wiggling around. I don't know about you guys, but here in Fallbrook, it was over 100 degrees today. So this little guy got a lot of sun, and he's a reptile. So that means he's ectothermic. Ectothermic means they get their energy from the sun, and that's going to make them a little bit more wiggly, a little bit more energetic today because it was so hot and sunny out. But that's Southern California living, and you guys, he's native, so that's normal for him. Actually, these tortoises can be found in both the Mojave and Sonoran deserts. They can also be found in like the southeast United States as well. We have them in Florida too. Now, in both habitats of southeast United States and here in California, this animal is really important. It's known as a keystone species. That very fancy term just means that without him, the other animals in his habitat would have a harder time surviving. So the reason that these tortoises are so important is because of their burrowing. So you'll notice he's not really made for water. Instead, he's made for land. Tortoises like him, they have these really stumpy feet. Look at those long claws. Those aren't going to help him in the water. So tortoises like him spend all their time on land, and his burrows are so important. He can make burrows over 100 feet long. Now, that's really important because he's not going to be the only animal that's trying to escape the heat of their habitat. So many different types of animals will use his burrow as a nice, shady, safe place to live. So he provides homes for other animals too, not just himself, and that's why he's known as a keystone species and so important for his habitat. Now, the other reason they can be really important, this goes for all tortoises, not just a desert tortoise. These animals have a really important job in their ecosystem. They're gardeners too. Now, I'm sure some of us have been gardening, especially this year because we had a little bit more extra time at home. I know we were at the zoo. We had our own little community garden, so hopefully you guys were too. He is a gardener not the same way we are. Because he's an herbivore, animals that are herbivores like to eat plants. So that means he's going to be eating seeds from all of the different plants that he's eating, shrubs and cacti and any type of fruit or veggie or greenery that he can find in his habitat. Now what happens is those tiny little seeds work their way through his belly, his digestive system, and then he gardens with a lot of fertilizer, if you know what I mean. It comes on out the other end, and that's going to be how he plants his little garden. He will obviously do that all over his habitat, and when he does, those seeds go right into the ground. Hopefully, we know they'll get a lot of sun, hopefully they get some rain, and those little seeds will start growing into a whole plant, providing food and shelter for other animals in his habitat. And also, of course, even though they might be small plants, they still provide oxygen for us, so that's really, really smart too. Oh my goodness, I see Sally from Alexandria, Virginia is watching. That is awesome. Thank you for tuning in. We're all over the country. I just love that. Now, tortoises and turtles can be found all over the country, speaking about that, and they're pretty easy to distinguish from each other. As we said, he's found on land. He's got those kind of stumpy feet, but turtles will have webbed feet, or they might also have flippers, like a sea turtle. So they spend all or most of their time in land while in the water, while he's always on land. But one thing they both have in common is their shell. They both have a shell that helps to protect them. You guys might notice, see this long piece right there? That's one way we know that this is a boy, because he can use that to defend his territory, maybe against other boy tortoises. That's one part of his shell. The top part of his shell is known as his carapace, while the bottom part of that shell is known as his plastron. And again, that's true for all turtles and tortoises, that terminology, across the board. Now, as we were saying, he is not only good at digging burrows, but he digs another thing too. These guys, because they do need some water from time to time to have a little drink, he also is pretty smart. He can dig little basins so that when it does rain, even just a little bit, it'll collect that water, and he'll know that he has a nice little water source for himself. So these tortoises, pretty smart guys too. All right, my friends, we do have another animal that we're going to meet today, so we're going to say goodbye to handsome Tucker. See you, Tucker. There we go. Carla is in the studio with me today, so when you see me handing off, that's what I'm doing. He's going back over with her. Now, tortoises and turtles are so important for our environment. We talked about how they're keystone species, and we talked about how he's a little bit of a gardener for the animals in his habitat. Our next guy, he eats meat, so his job is going to be making sure the populations of animals in his habitat stay perfectly under control. His name is Jasper, and Jasper here is our very, very handsome fennec fox. Now, if you guys know about animals, you might be thinking, wait a second, those are not native to right here in California, and you would be correct. So this is actually another desert animal. He comes from the Sahara Desert in Africa, but he's here representing his fox cousins that we have in California and all across the United States. We have a little bit bigger types of foxes, like the red fox and even the gray fox. Now, foxes, as I said, play a very important role in our environments and our ecosystems because they eat meat. Now, they're not specifically carnivores, they're actually omnivores. Do you guys know what omnivores like to eat? Put it in the comments. Let me know if you know. Go ahead and put it on up there. Now, as we were saying, this little guy comes from Africa, where it's really, really hot. And here in California, it gets pretty hot too. So our red fox needs a few ways to help keep cool too. But for this fennec fox, the way that he does it, well, he's got a few ways. The first way is his fur. He actually just grew this new coat in. He usually gets a new coat where he'll shed out all of his old fur and get the new coat coming in about in September. So you guys are seeing his nice fluffy new coat, and that sandy color is not just going to help him to camouflage, but it's also going to help him reflect the sunlight and keep nice and cool. The second thing he's got going on are his shoes. Take a look at the bottoms of his little feet. He has extra fur on the bottoms of his feet, and those are his shoes. That way when he's hopping around on the desert sand, it's not too hot on those leathery pads that he has. He has those leathery pads just like your dog or your cat at home, but the extra fur will help keep his feet safe. And the last and my favorite part of him that keeps him nice and cool are his ears. You guys, look at those big ears. Holy cow. They are so huge. Okay, so the way that it works is on the tips of those ears, he has extra blood vessels. So when a cool wind blows, it's going to cool off the blood vessels and circulate the cold blood all over his body. And that's going to kind of cool him off during the hot desert days. Now for all foxes, luckily for him, and for all foxes across the board, they're typically known as crepuscular. Sometimes having nocturnal habits, which means they're usually out at night. They also have crepuscular habits too, which means they're out at dusk and dawn. So they're going to choose the best temperature times to come on out and look for food. I see that Ryan got it. Meat and plants is what omnivores like to eat. Good job. That's exactly right. So he's not just a carnivore. He does have sharp teeth, and all foxes have excellent hearing, eyesight, and a sense of smell. So they are kind of like the ultimate predator. But they are going to eat berries and any type of little kind of fruit or veggie they can find out there too. That's going to make them grow big and strong. So they are omnivorous because they like to eat both. Now, red foxes that we have here are going to get a little bit bigger than this guy. This is the smallest type of fox in the whole entire world. So Jasper actually only weighs about 3 pounds right now. Super tiny, and that's as big as they get. So he's actually not a baby at all, even though he is so small. No, he's actually about 11 years old, and they can live to be about 15. Same with red foxes, about 15 years. So kind of an older gentleman, this guy, and won't get any bigger, being the smallest type of fox in the whole entire world. As we said, he's found in the desert. Red foxes are found here in the U.S. They actually go all the way up to the Arctic tundra and down into Central America as well. They can inhabit all sorts of different habitats. So they can inhabit the tundra, prairies, plains, woodlands. They're a pretty diverse group of animals so that they can spend their time finding food and, again, helping out our human population. And the way they do that is by eating up those rodents, maybe snakes or other animals that maybe we don't want on our farm, in our backyard or prairies. They're going to eat them on up and help control those populations. You know, everything in an ecosystem has to work in balance, so we do need omnivorous animals like foxes to help us out. Now, speaking of helping us out, thank you so much, Jasper and Carla, thank you. So, speaking of helping us out, we want to, of course, again, thank the Fallbrook Land Conservancy for having us for Stagecoach Sunday uploaded. Now, if you didn't watch Monday's episode, go back and watch that too. We met some other native furry and feathered friends, and so go ahead and watch that, you guys. We want to thank the Fallbrook Land Conservancy for supporting missions that help save over 3,000 acres of protected land here in San Diego County. That is so important for our native wildlife. We just love that mission, and we love being able to be a part of it. So if you want to support their mission, what you can do is you can become a member, or you can also donate to them. Go ahead and go to the Fallbrook Land Conservancy, or just fallbrooklandconservancy.com. .org. Thank you, Carla. fallbrooklandconservancy.org. I think they're going to put the link right in the chat. You can donate or become a member or just learn more about them. You guys, we are going to be back on Friday at 6 p.m. with even more native wildlife. And if you can believe it, we're going to be back on Sunday too at 1 p.m. on the virtual main stage, and we're going to be followed by the best band. We're going to be followed by the Daring Greatly Band, so you definitely want to check that out. Good tunes and some animals. It's going to be so much fun. So thank you so much for joining us. Continue to ask your questions, and we will happily continue to answer them. Thank you again to the Fallbrook Land Conservancy, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye, guys.